Well, thanks everybody for coming to our mini bite on Microsoft Copilot and AI. I'm Dave Ecker. I'm from the Division of Information Technology, and I'm one of your engagement specialists. Here today, you'll see Julie Sharma. She's the co-host and also going to be facilitating. So any of those cool links, Donna had some cool links about AI, dump them into chat. We'll capture them. Any other questions you have, Julie's going to be monitoring, and we'll hope to answer a lot of your questions. Today, my plan is to try to go over what is Copilot, what are our features, how protected mode works compared to some of the other AI products, how the Edge browser works, what a conversation style is, and image generation. I moved image generation up higher in the session, especially with everything going on with Taylor Swift. I wanted you guys to have a better idea. So that's, but first thing I'm going to do is put up a poll because I want to just get a general idea if you guys have ever used any of the AI products that exist. If you have, just click on it. If you're not, just click on none of these. It gives us an idea of capturing who's used what, so we have a better idea as we go forward. And it looks like lots of people are answering right away, so that's great. Thank you. All right. Looks like we're at that 85%, which is always the participation. So I'm going to end the poll. Oh, at 90%. That's great. And I'll show you the results. It looks like we have an even distribution of people who've used some ChatGPT, used Bard, maybe used Copilot, and some people have used none of them. Great. Welcome to the session. We're here to appeal to all of that. And we're hoping to get you guys up to speed on everything we do. So thank you. As always, if you don't know me, I'm interactive. Stop me, raise your hand, put it in chat. I'll answer any questions and we'll go from there. And then we ask you to stay muted until you have a question so everybody can contribute. All right, so to access Copilot, I'm going to show you how to get in and use it. This is the link to get you into Copilot. It's copilot.microsoft.com, but you log in with your Stony Brook credentials. I'm going to walk you through the process first, just because it's sometimes a little different than when we've logged in with other systems. So this is the Microsoft Edge browser. That's just what I'm using for this example, but this is Copilot. So if you go to copilot.microsoft.com, you'll see this login. When I click sign in, it brings me up to a strange window because it doesn't bring up to the net ID we're used to seeing. It brings up to a Microsoft sign in. It's okay to put our email addresses right in here into this box. I know it's not intuitive, but that's how we have our login set up for Microsoft. So I would put my login, then I click on work a school account. You don't click on personal as you do it, because what that does, it triggers it to go back and give us the Stony Brook password login. So if you see here, now we have a login that has a picture of the campus and Stony Brook University. So even though this isn't the NetID usual login, it's okay to put your Stony Brook credentials in here. So I will put my Stony Brook password in, and then I won't save it. But then the always prevalent Duo comes up. So it asks you to log into your Duo account. Go to my phone, and I say yes, approve. I'm just going to say no, but it logs me in. Then another window comes in. This is a long process. It annoys me, but this is why I wanted to show it. This asks, do you want to reduce the number of times you're asked to log in as you log into the system. So if you say yes, you won't get as many of these login prompts. I say no because I'm training and demoing, but I recommend sometimes to say yes so you don't get all these prompts. It's up to you, but I always say no. Then you get into Copilot. Give me a thumbs up if everybody understood that long login process or anybody has questions. All right, I see some thumbs up.
David, I have
That's
a question.
Go ahead. I'm here, Tamara. What's up?
Mine didn't ask me to do any of that. Does that mean that at some point in the past I must have signed in?
Or you must have hit that yes at the end where it says reduce the number of logins.
I don't know. It came right to this page.
You're great. Can I use your
Okay.
computer then?
Just like it does say protected in the corner. So maybe I logged in a long time ago. I don't remember. Okay, I just want to make sure it was safe. So
No, it's safe.
The same
Also,
experience. I had the same experience.
Oh,
okay.
okay.
Thanks, Susan. Also, it could be if you've ever used Office 365, sometimes it saves the login there.
Yes, I have. Okay.
So that could be the way also. I wanted to show people in case they hadn't used it, but you're good. All right, so now
Dave,
you're
just
in.
a quick thing, that a couple of people in chat are saying they see a blank page, and someone mentioned that if you click on your name in the top right, that might help. So I don't know how many people are seeing that, but just in case that's helpful.
That's very helpful. Thank you. And if anybody had trouble after the session, you could stay on and we can work on it individually to figure out where the trouble is. This is a licensed product, so we're licensed to it out of our Office 365 login. So sometimes if you have logged into Office 365 over the web, you may not see all the same prompts, but thank you. It's good to know. So what does protected mean? So when you see in the top right, this green means protected, we're licensed to the product. So what license means that when you submit something in here, it's protected and it's not sharing it with the rest of Microsoft's model. That's what Microsoft is saying is we can put our institutional data in here and run it, and it won't save it. I asked SUNY and they say the similar thing. I asked our own IT people and they're still advising if they should or shouldn't put institutional data in, but you're using a protected system that we're licensed for. So Microsoft isn't keeping it. If you use a personal system, what they do is they save your data and they improve the models. This they're not. So that's a little layer of comfort you should get when you're using a protected system. I'm still a little worried about putting real institutional data in, but you may want to try it slowly as you figure it out. But I wanted to give you an idea of what protected means and why you should see that if you're using a Stony Brook login. Compared, I have one open that's just my personal, which is here. You'll see it doesn't have the protected login. So that's how you know the difference between you're logged in with just Stony Brook ID or you're not Stony Brook ID. So that's really important as you figure that out. All right, let me go back to the other share.
I just had a question.
Go ahead. I'm going to share my desktop so then I don't have to.
Oh, never mind. I'm thinking of my Gmail account. I'm sorry. So
no, it's okay.
Okay, because I realize my Stony Brook is a Gmail, so I apologize. So
no, it's good.
Just
do you guys see my screen now? Okay, thank you. Because you guys just went all the way over to my other screen, so I lost you. So if we go into the protected one.
David, we see your Word document, not Copilot, just so you know.
Oh, thank you. That's why I asked. I didn't know what you were seeing because I have too many screens. Thank you, John. Now do you see Copilot?
Yes.
Okay, great. So we've all heard about image generation and the whole Taylor Swift stuff. So I wanted to give you an idea. One of the benefits of this Copilot is it allows us to do image generation. So I could ask it, please create a image of a person working at a desk. When I do this, Copilot will go and try to create an image. Now, the thing is, it sometimes is not accurate or not dependable. And I've seen it bump and just have trouble generating. Right now, what it's doing is it's showing a fake image as it goes out to its system and come up with a generation to do. Now, I love the image generation because usually you have to pay for this, but it takes time to do it. So I've learned I've had to be patient as it does it. But in this example, it came up with 4 examples of a person working at a desk. Now I gave it no information. I just said, please create an image of a person working at a desk. So now it came up with this image of a person with her headphones working at a desk. And you can interpret that any way you want as it does it. You could add and say, please add a blue water bottle to the desk. Now, it should remember what the original picture was, go back and generate, and then add a water bottle to the desk. Now, I can't tell what that water bottle is, but it can do it at the same time. Since sometimes it takes a while, I'm going to go over to this screen and say, please generate an image of a house at the holidays. Oops. If you can see, it changed the image completely. It didn't remember the original person sitting at the desk. It changed it to a new image, but added a blue water bottle to the desk. What do you think about that? Is that good, bad? So a thumbs up. I like it because you can start doing stuff with it. So a couple of people thumbs up. It's really good and allows you to do it. Even with the free version, which I have over here, I'm going to ask it to generate an image of, I said host, it should say house for the holidays. We'll see what it does. But does anybody want to try this? See, it's generating here. Does anybody have images they'd like to see me try? We'll take 3 or 4 and try them in the model. If you have an example, type it in chat. Julie will tell me and we'll try it out.
I have a question.
Sure.
Maybe you said this already, I'm not sure, but so like I know like when I make like brochures or whatever for Stony Brook purposes, a lot of times the feedback I'll get from like marketing communications is that like I have to use like Getty images or like something like something that we've like purchased or whatever. In this case, is this something you're just allowed to use?
I can't speak for marketing and communications because I will probably get myself in big trouble. But basically, you can start experimenting with this and see if it's something you want to use. I
Okay.
don't know because like here, I put in generate a host for the holidays. There's pictures of people here. I don't know who these people are and how they're licensed or whatever else that we're seeing.
So there may or may not be copyrights. We don't know.
Correct.
Okay.
And that would be things we'd have to think about. So it's
Thank
something to
you.
be aware of. You're welcome. All right, I know somebody asked me to put a giraffe with a short neck, but I typed it wrong, but I put in a giraffe with a short neck, it did start to show me all kinds of pictures of giraffes. And this is one of those things that is a real thing I like about Copilot. It's got sources listed here. On the bottom, it put 5 sources of where it got that information. When you start thinking about AI models, a lot of the others don't have sources. This one does. So you can reference that it didn't just make it up out of thin air where it came up with information. So that's really a good point as it does it. Julie, do we have anybody else who's got ideas for image to be generated? I can't follow
Not
chat.
that I saw.
Okay. Anybody else would like to try anything before I move on to the next setup?
Actually, it was kind of creepy. I put a comment in the chat, but I just out of for fun asked it to generate an image of a chipmunk playing harmonica, and it automatically included a cowboy hat. So these things are somewhat customized to your habits too. Just out of the blue, it added the cowboy hat, even though I didn't ask for it. So and then in terms of like the copyright, I actually was doing some research on AI, and I found on YouTube that the influencers that are creating AI people to be marketing influencers that don't even exist, and they're completely AI generated, and you can't tell these aren't real people. It's very scary. There was even a program that'll create an AI avatar of you and dub in your voice and automatically translate you speaking languages. So this stuff is really getting super powerful, just as an aside.
You're right, Donna. It's starting to do all kinds of stuff. Here's what happened when I put in a chipmunk playing an instrument. It came out with this kind of stuff. And like this image, a chipmunk playing an instrument, I would love to put on a student flyer just to get students' attention because it would grab students' attention. I don't know how much trouble I'd get by doing that, but it definitely does. So, and then Rose said, mine has a winter hat. Yeah, exactly. That's great. Now, let me talk to you about the cons of using Copilot. And Amy, this is for you. I know you asked me recently about what the cons are. Well, what I don't like about it, it has no running history. So after I produced all this stuff in Copilot on my left screen, once I hit new topic, it disappears and doesn't keep a running history of my conversation or interactions. And for me, who's used it, it's really hard to do that because I can't remember what I've asked it or not. Also, I can tell you, it doesn't always remember the conversations completely. I was doing work on Copilot on Friday, and I was asking it a couple questions. By the 4th question, it forgot what I had asked it the first time and what it had answered. These models are changing constantly. So as they develop, you have to remember, you have to be patient with it. Even though it's here to help us to do better, sometimes it forgets something. And if you're looking for something that's doing a longer chat, you may want to try one of the other products that aren't protected, because this one only limits you to about 20 prompts. After that, it starts to forget and hallucinate, I would say. I've seen Bard and ChatGPT do a little bit better. So that's something to think about, but this has images display and it really does some cool things with it. Like if I ask it, please list the top 10 universities in the United States. Since it has access to sources and displays sources, it does something sometimes that's nicer than I've seen the other models. It will list them here. And here's where it died. My mistake, I can't respond to that right now. Let's try a different topic. Why can't it tell me about the top 10 universities? It did, and then it disappeared. So that's an example where it just doesn't work. I'll ask it.
A
Yeah, go ahead.
question. Sorry to interrupt again. But you know, the different engines, the different AIs sort of like somewhat specialized to different niches. And people tend to use the chat GPT a lot, but I was also looking at Perplexity, and Perplexity is interesting because it's an answer engine, and it might be actually better for this kind of task than this AI, because different AIs have strengths in certain capacities.
Oh, you're completely right. I haven't tried Perplexity yet, but I definitely see different ones doing it. I know there's one specific for like the car industry and stuff like that. They're getting more specific, so I agree. Yeah.
Well, Perplexity is going head to head with the paid ChatGPT-4, and supposedly it renders quicker, and it was like super clean results. And it will actually give you the citations for everything where it pulled the information. It's very much like a summary kind of engine. It would be great for academics.
Oh, it's
So,
great. I'll definitely take a look at that one and then I'll share it with some of the colleagues because that would be helpful. Thank you, Donna. I appreciate that. The other thing about Copilot is it has 3 styles. Creative is more original work. Precise is more specific and shorter responses. So if I said precise and I say, describe the details on how the United States chose its anthem. Usually it gives you a very small, specific answer on what it's trying to do. And it's usually trying to use factual events in the process, which there's others that will give better examples, but you can see it's coming up with sources as it goes. So that's really kind of close to it as it comes to why different things are developed as it does it. Just one way of using it to try to change the models. Right now, this is being more wordy than I've seen it, but it said it's chosen as the anthem because of the creation of the anthem, popularity during the Civil War, and then recognition in 1931. And then it lists the sources where it got the information. So that's helpful. One thing I really like about Copilot in Microsoft Edge, it has this button. When you click on this button, when it comes up, it will load Copilot in its own window. And the benefit there is whatever you have in the window to your left, it can interact with. So if I bring up the 9/11 Commission report, if I put PDF in, this is the PDF document of the 9/11 Commission report. It's 585 pages. Now, I'm not going to read the 585 pages, but with the Copilot on the right side, I can ask it, please generate a summary of this report. Now, it knows that I have, I have to give it permissions. Okay, why is it not letting me do that? Worked yesterday. Let's try a different report. Global climate change report, 2011 to 2020. Here's another report that, no, this is not as long, but click on a reader. And use. Usually what it does is it will then go read this report automatically. Now it's telling me it won't do it because I don't have cookies enabled. But you can bring up any web page, and if I bring up this web page, it can generate some. This is the problem with AI models. It sometimes doesn't actually do what you think. But if you have a web page and you want a summary, here's one. It will generate what's going on in the report and look at it. Of course, it's not always working, but it's trying to do it. I apologize, this isn't working what I was hoping, but let's go on from there. The last, does that answer some of your questions? I know we're getting close to time. I only had one other thing to show you, but I wanted to stop here and see if anybody had other questions before I show how you can use audio to interact with it. All right, I got one other thing to share. Let me stop sharing and then share with audio. Let's just share. Where is image? All right, so I just have this, and I'm signed in. I was signed in. Am I still signed in? No, it signed me out. One thing you can do with the Microsoft Copilot is you can click on this button here and use audio to talk to it, and it should give you an audio response. Can you please generate and explain the El Nino effect in the US?
Certainly. El Niño is a weather phenomenon that occurs when the surface water temperature in the Pacific Ocean near the equator becomes warmer than usual. This warming of the ocean water can cause changes in the atmospheric pressure and wind patterns, which can affect weather patterns across the globe.
So it reads back actually the response, which I think is really cool from an accessibility standpoint as it's starting to do stuff. And you can really interact with it that way, so you don't always have to type it. I want to thank you for your time. I don't want to go past our 30 minutes, but was this helpful in giving you guys the information? Give me a thumbs up if you think it was.
I have a quick question, David.
Sure,
It
go
says
ahead.
1 of 30 responses. Is that like under the learn more?
So that was the best response it found out of the 30 it generated itself.
Okay, so you can't peruse those 30 responses.
You can't, no.
Oh, okay. I was curious about that.
Yeah, but I
Um,
can, go ahead, Tara, sorry.
oh, I was gonna say, but under the learn more, what is that?
The learn more,
Yeah, see, over on the left?
yep, I see that. If you click on learn more, it shows you the other sources where they got the information.
Gotcha. Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Anybody else have any questions? Well, thank you so much for the engagement team. We're always here to help. Thanks to Julie for facilitating, and I look forward to talking to you guys all soon. Have a great day, and I'll stay on if anybody else have any individual questions.
David, I sent an article that compares the Perplexity to the Chat GPT to get, I mean, they both have like different strengths and pluses and minuses, and they're both now competing with Bard for the lead paid service. I think they're part of the big three. And the Perplexity is interesting because I was watching some guys on YouTube showing a comparison between like the questions they asked in Chat GPT versus Perplexity, and Perplexity always came out more clean,